You know, I'm sorry we can't do this outside, but even though it's a rainy morning here in Salyersville, I'm here to tell you that the sun is shining bright on my old Kentucky home today. We've got a bunch of folks here that have been a part of this effort all along, and let me start out by introducing our legislative team that's here. Obviously, Speaker Greg Stumbo, who you're going to hear from in a minute, Representative John Short, who you know very well, Representative Rocky Atkins, who is the majority leader in the House of Representatives, Representative Hubie Collins, who heads up the Transportation Committee in the House, a very important position, Representative Leslie Combs. She heads up the area of transportation for our whole budget that we put together, and that's where the money comes from. They lit up when they heard that part. And you'll hear from, I believe, the mayor and the county judge here in just a minute. And I also want to say a special thanks up front to Secretary Mike Hancock and his whole team at the Transportation Cabinet. One of the big reasons we're here. We also have the Floyd County Judge here, Judge Marshall, and he's been a great friend of ours. Mike Miller from the Kentucky River Ad. I think Mike is here. He's back in the back. Sandy Runyon from the Big Sandy Ad. Sandy. You know, today is a special day for a lot of reasons. But one of the main reasons it's so special is because today we begin to fulfill a vision about the Mountain Parkway that was originally created over 50 years ago. Governor Bert T. Combs. Governor Bert T. Combs he was born and raised not far from where we are today. And he had that vision. And that vision was to create a parkway that would connect eastern Kentucky to the rest of our state and of our country. And so he started out to fulfill that vision. And beginning in 1960, crews started cutting through bedrock. They carved through mountains, they crossed streams, and they overcame doubt to build a modern roadway and opened up a new corridor all the way from central Kentucky to the Appalachian region here in Salyersville. And in the half century since that initial work was completed, we all know that the Mountain Parkway has provided a vital link between eastern Kentucky and the rest of our state. Today it's a corridor for young people going to school, for senior citizens heading for medical services, for trucks bringing goods to the mountains, and for eastern Kentucky businesses shipping products across our state and across this country. But this road stops short of the vision of Bert T. Combs. It stops short of fulfilling the need for a 4-lane, high-speed corridor that connects people, spurs businesses, and creates opportunities just like parkways and interstates do all across the rest of our state. Nowhere in the Commonwealth, you can just look at a map of our state, nowhere in the Commonwealth is there a more obvious gap in our highway system. And nowhere in the Commonwealth is there a greater opportunity to widen the road and to narrow the gap between a promise and prosperity. The long-awaited expansion of this Mountain Parkway begins here today, and it starts right now. From this point, both east and west, we will build a wider, safer corridor for better connectivity and for expanded commerce. In just a few weeks, Crews will begin the initial clearing work for construction of a new interchange at Gifford Road, near the site of a new industrial park. That industrial park, I'll guarantee you, will be a catalyst for commerce. And that was put together and driven by local leadership here. Representative Short, your County Judge Doc Harden, Mayor Pete Shepard. Over the next 2 years, nearly 6 miles of roadway will be widened to the west, and 2 existing interchanges will be modernized to improve safety and access. And to the east, the extension of the Mountain Parkway begins just behind us, and much sooner than any of us believed just a few short weeks ago. And that's because you, the people of Eastern Kentucky, told Washington, D.C. that it was time to finish this job. Dozens of you. Dozens of you wrote letters supporting the federal Tiger Grant, it's called. We put an application in. Representative Hal Rogers and I put this application in. And we were seeking funding to widen and improve what we call the Restaurant Row section of the Parkway. Speaker Stumbo, President Stivers, Judge Doc Harden, Mayor Pete Shepard, Representative Short, and 30 other leaders sent a strong message to Washington that Eastern Kentucky deserves this project to build a brighter future for our people. And for once, Washington listened. Washington listened. Folks, this Mountain Parkway expansion application beat out hundreds of applications all across this country. As a matter of fact, it's a $24 million grant, and it is the single largest rural grant awarded in the entire United States. Now, we're taking those dollars and we're combining them with several million more in the state budget, and that's going to allow us to jumpstart the Restaurant Row segment of this project. It was scheduled to begin, I believe, in 2018. Now, because of your persistence, we're going to begin that construction 2 years ahead of schedule in 2016. And you will see progress right away. You know, the roar of heavy equipment and the buzz of people at work are going to aggravate a lot of us, but that is going to be a sign of real progress. It's going to be a sign that just in a few years, we're going to see real changes here, not only in Salyersville and Magoffin County, but all across Eastern Kentucky. We're going to hear a lot more from Salyersville and Magoffin County and all of Eastern Kentucky in the years to come because of the comprehensive strategic investments we're making to improve the quality of life in this region. You know, expanding this Mountain Parkway the entire length and making it 4-lane is a key goal of SOAR, the Shaping Our Appalachian Region initiative that Congressman Rogers and I put together. We're fighting to diversify our economy here in Eastern Kentucky for the future. And by improving this region's infrastructure, we can open up the door to a lot more economic activity and investment, tourism, and education opportunities, all of which are critical to the future of this region and the success of this region. I want to again thank everybody that was involved in this. Our legislature, you see our folks back here. I'm going to tell you, these people work every day for you, and they work hard for you. And I'll tell you, anytime anything from Eastern Kentucky comes along that's down there, they're knocking on my door. They're worrying me to death. And they're successful because they stick together. Let me say a special thanks to another fellow that's pretty special to me, and that's your own County Judge Executive Doc Harden. You know, Doc and I have been friends a long time, but in 2007, we became more than friends. We became partners because I got elected governor, and he was there in my office, and we joined hands at that time and said, let's do everything we can to move Magoffin County and the rest of Eastern Kentucky along. And I'm going to tell you, he works hard every day for you. I remember when those tornadoes roared over that hill and came down through here just 2 short years ago. He was on the phone as soon as the phones would work. And I was down here, and you know, all of us pulled together and have been digging out of all of that mess that was created by that. But every day, just as these legislators knock on my door, I turn around and he's sitting in my office wanting something else for McGoffin County. And he usually gets it because he's there all the time. So, you know, today we begin to finish the work on that vision that Governor Burt T. Combs had over 50 years ago. And I say, let's get started. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you all. Now, let's hear from the leader in the House of Representatives. He's the Speaker, Greg Stumbo from Eastern Kentucky, and he is one of the main reasons that we're able to stand here today and begin to finish this vision. Speaker Stumbo.
Well, thank you, Governor Beshear, and thank all of you, particularly my colleagues in the House. It's been a long time coming to this day, over 50 years. And, you know, Burt Combs was from my hometown of Prestonsburg. He was actually born over in Clay County, but he lived in Prestonsburg, and he was sort of a mentor of mine as I entered my political career. And he told me one time, he said, you know, a promise to build a road sometimes better than building one. He said, you promise to build it, everybody's happy. You start building, everybody's mad over where the road's going and taking their property. Well, I don't think he really meant that. He said it in jest. But this road has got to be, for history, the most promised road in America. Every governor since Burt Combs has come here, and I look around this room, and I know you all have heard it, and I've heard them say it, including Paul Patton, we're going to 4-lane the Mountain Parkway. Well, it never got done, did it? So the gentleman that just spoke to you is the person that really deserves the lion's share of the credit for this day becoming a reality.